Jackson Rell was tired. Just another repair job. That's what they told him. A simple broken cargo ship floating near the edge of the Veil Nebula. No crew, no weapons. No danger. Fix the power relay. Patch the outer hull. Upload the log. Come. Home, easy. He didn't even bring a weapon. His small shuttle. Stitch locked onto the ship's faded hull with a soft metallic thump. Jackson pulled on his helmet and climbed out into the cold silence of space. The alien ship looked ancient. Its dark silver body was covered in dents and scars. Deep cracks ran along the sides, like it had been attacked long ago. There were no lights, no signs of life, just silence. Deep, heavy silence. Jackson walked along the hull, using his magnetic boots to stay steady. His helmet light scanned across strange alien marking symbols no one had fully translated. Most of the ship's data systems were fried. No one knew where it came from or how it got here. All they knew was it was dead. He didn't like it. It felt wrong. Still, a job was a job. He found the power access port near the ship's spine. The metal around it was scorched, melted. Looked like it had taken a direct plasma hit. He knelt down, pulled out his toolkit, and connected a scanner. System core. Offline, the scanner beeped. Reboot sequence ready. Jackson sighed. All right, let's wake you up. He tapped the screen and started the boot up. Suddenly, the scanner glitched. The screen blinked. Static filled his ears, then silence again. What the? Jackson shook the scanner. Stupid thing. He looked. Down and froze. Beneath the dust, just to the right of the access port, something was glowing faintly. A small patch of hull. Shining softly. He brushed it with his glove. His heart stopped. There, carved deep into the metal, was a single word dot in English. Jackson's blood ran cold. This was an alien ship. Human language had no place here. He leaned closer, breathing hard. The letters were sharp and deep. Not burned, not painted. Etched. What the hell? He tapped his cum. Control, this is Rel. I found something strange on the outer hull, but the cum was dead. No signal. No static. Nothing. His scanner beeped again. More static. Then a voice, but it didn't come from his headset. It came from inside his helmet. A soft whisper. Not again. Jackson staggered back. Who said that? He shouted, spinning around. But there was no one. Just him, the stars, and the dead ship. The word on the hull still glowed. He reached out to touch it again when the metal under his boots shifted slightly. The ship moved. Just a tremor. Barely noticeable. But he felt it. This can't be real. He muttered, this ship's dead. He ran a quick scan of the interior. Still no life signs. No power. No heat. Yet the structure had just flexed like something inside was alive. He didn't want to go in, but the job wasn't finished. His hand hovered over the outer hatch switch. He looked back at the word, run? A warning or a message? He opened the hatch. The airlock hissed open slowly, metal scraping against metal. The lights inside were dead. Only his helmet lamp lit the way. As he stepped inside, the door closed. Behind him with a loud clang, Jackson moved forward, boots echoing through the narrow corridor. Every surface was covered in alien script, like a language scratched in a hurry. The deeper he went, the colder it got. And then another word appeared. On the wall ahead, faint but visible in his light. Again, he stopped. Run. Again. That made no sense. But it wasn't random. His breath quickened. He looked down the corridor, and suddenly the lights flickered. Just once. Then he heard it again. A voice. He's back. Then silence. Jackson's heart pounded inside his suit. The voice still echoed in his ears. He's back. But who had said it? And who was he? He stood frozen in the middle of the dark corridor. Only his helmet light gave him a narrow path forward. The word "again" still glowed on the wall behind him. He checked his scanner. No signals. No heat. No life. Nothing. But something was watching him. He could feel it. He moved forward slowly. The walls of the alien ship looked melted in places, like they had been exposed to high heat. Strange symbols covered everything, drawn like spirals and claws. The deeper he walked, the more the walls shimmered with faint light, like they remembered something. He reached a control room. It was half collapsed, full of broken panels and shattered glass. Jackson stepped inside, aiming his light at the central console. Maybe the log files could tell him what happened here. He plugged in his portable AI device and waited. Static. Then a loud pop. The IA's voice came online, broken and scared. Unknown feedback, energy, not normal. Then it shut off completely. Great, Jackson muttered. Even the AI is scared. Suddenly, a soft metallic sound echoed behind him. Tap. Tap, tap. JAX. ON turned fast. Nothing. Just a long hallway full of shadows. But the sound came again. Tap. 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 He raised his flashlight toward the ceiling. And then he saw it. A small round panel near the roof, pulsing, not flashing. Breathing. As if the ship had a heartbeat. Jackson stared. At it. That's impossible. Ships don't breathe. He took one step closer, and the panel spoke, not with words, with a feeling. Suddenly his helmet screen flickered. Dozens of broken images flashed across his visor. A child, a planet burning, a black sun, a cry, a scream. And his face, older, scarred, eyes full of pain. Then darkness. His flashlight went out. Jackson gasped. Total black. He fumbled for his backup light, panic rising. Then, from deep within the corridor, came the voice again, this time louder. You broke the cycle. You were never supposed to return. Jackson finally turned on his backup light. The hallway was still empty. But now, glowing across the floor, were new words, this time in both English. An alien script. You were warned. He stepped back. What cycle? He asked out loud. What are you talking about? But the ship didn't answer. Not with words. Instead, a door slid open at the end of the corridor, on its own. Inside was a dark room, circular, silent. But something glowed in the center. Jackson walked in slowly. A single object hovered in midair. A broken helmet, human design, just like his, but it was cracked open, burned, and inside it, etched into the inner lining, was another word. Recall. His hands trembled as he picked it up. It was the same model as his. Same serial code. Same name on the tag. J. Rel. This was mine, he whispered. But I've never been here before. Or had he? Suddenly, his mind filled with sharp pain. Flashbacks. Images. A door closing. A scream. Flames. Running. Again and again. His brain felt like it was being torn apart. He dropped the helmet. It hit the ground, and the ship screamed. Deep metallic roar echoed through the halls. Lights blinked red. The floor shook. The ship was angry. Jackson ran out of the room, heart racing. The hallway behind him began to close. Bulkheads slammed shut. Walls moved. Something had changed. He wasn't alone anymore. Not just the voice, not just the ship, but something had awakened. And it knew his name. Asterisk. Jackson ran. His boots slammed against the shaking metal floor. Behind him, the ship groaned like something alive. Walls creaked. Pipes burst. Red lights flashed above. The word recall still burned in his mind. He didn't know what it meant. But something inside him remembered. Not just his brain, his bones. He turned into a narrow hallway and slammed into a sealed bulkhead. The door was locked. His escape path was gone. He spun around. No footsteps, no shadows. But he felt the presence. Watching, listening. Then, something strange happened. The floor cooled. The lights faded. The shaking stopped. Everything went still. He stood alone, panting, confused. He tried his scanner. Still dead. His AI was offline. His comms weren't working. That's when the whisper returned. Not loud, not angry, soft. Cold. Inside his helmet. You don't need tools to open this door. Only fear. Jackson stared at the bulkhead. There was no control panel. No keypad. No handle. Just a single palm-sized dent. Like it was waiting for something. What do you mean? Jackson said aloud. Fear? That's not a key. The whisper replied. It is. Here. He didn't understand, but his chest tightened. His breath shortened. The room around him started changing. Not physically, but in his mind. Suddenly, he was somewhere else. The corridor flickered. The alien ship melted into something new. Something terrible. Earth. But not the Earth he knew. It was burning. Cities in ruin. Children screaming. Ships exploding in the sky. Black clouds swallowed the sun. He stood in the center of it all, helpless. Giant shadow stepped through the flames. JAXO, and looked up and saw himself. Older, wounded, broken, and this older version whispered, You left us. Again. You always run. Jackson screamed, No, I don't remember this. But the vision pressed harder. The pain was real. The smoke filled his lungs. The fire burned his suit. He felt it all. He collapsed to his knees, shaking. Then the door behind him clicked. The vision vanished. The fire gone. The pain gone. Just the ship again. The bulkhead was now open. He didn't touch anything. It had opened on his fear. Jackson stood slowly, hands trembling. What kind of ship is this? The corridor ahead was colder. The walls were smooth, dark, and silent. This part of the ship was untouched by damage, too clean, too perfect. He walked forward, heart still pounding. Then he saw it. A door marked by 3 glowing lines. One in alien script. One in human letters. And one blinking slowly in red. The word. Access denied, emotional lock intact. What the hell is an emotional lock? He muttered. He reached out, touched the panel. Nothing. But something inside the wall pulsed. A memory? No, a feeling. His hand shook. His eyes burned. And slowly, images came again. A girl standing in the rain. His younger brother waving goodbye at a spaceport. A promise he never kept. A funeral. One he never attended. Pain, regret, fear, shame. The ship felt it. And then the door opened. Inside was a round chamber. In the center hovered a glowing cube. It spun slowly, humming like a heart. Jackson stepped inside. The whisper returned. You're beginning to remember who you were and why we trapped you. He backed away. Who is we? What are you? The voice paused. Then answered. Your creators and your punishment. Suddenly, the cube flared. A beam of light hit his visor. Data flowed across his screen. His name, his DNA code, his past missions, classified orders from Earth's Defense Corps, and one line flashing red. Memory lock activated. Jackson gasped. This wasn't just an alien ship. It was a prison. And he wasn't just a visitor. He was a prisoner who forgot his crime. Jackson stood still as the cube's light faded. His visor cleared, but his mind didn't. The words echoed again. And again. You are not sent to repair. You were sent to forget. The air in the chamber was colder than before. The walls were no longer smooth. Symbols had started to glow faintly across the surface, both alien and human. He backed away from the cube, breathing hard. This wasn't a normal ship. It wasn't even just a prison. It was built to erase his memories, his identity, his past, and yet something had failed. Something had allowed him to see the word run. Why? A new hallway opened behind the chamber. No doors, just a tunnel, glowing faint blue. He followed it. Step by step, the walls pulsed around him, like veins under skin. The deeper he went, the more it felt like he was walking into a brain. A living thing. Then the tunnel opened up. Jackson stepped into a circular room massive, quiet, echoing. The floor was polished, reflective. Like black glass dot in the center stood a line of CRYO pods dot, at least 30 of them. Most were shattered, cracked, open, burned. Dead dot each pod had an inscription written in alien script except one. Only one had a label in English. Jackson walked toward it, his light shaking in his hand. The label read SRELL status, unknown. His breath caught. Rel was his family name. He never knew much about his past. No parents, no siblings. He had grown up in the Unity colonies an orphan. Always told his records were lost. But now, he stood before a pod with his name. He placed his hand on the glass. It was cold. The pod was empty. He checked the scanner. No life signs. But the moment his hand touched it, the pod system activated dot lights turned on across the chamber. One by one, the broken pods started playing audio logs. Voices human and alien speaking in chaos. Subject broke containment. We warned Earth this wouldn't hold. He keeps returning. We can't stop it. Lock his memories, start the loop again. The voices overlapped louder and louder. JXON stumbled back. What is this? What did I do? The cube's voice echoed again, but deeper, more powerful now. You were part of something greater, but you chose to break it, and now we restart. Suddenly, the walls began to shift. The floor trembled. The cryopods started disappearing, sinking into the floor one by one. He tried to run, but the room folded in dot in a flash. He was somewhere else. A control deck, a battle, screens over the radio dot ships falling from the sky. He looked down. He was wearing a captain's uniform. Earth Defense Corps. Rank, Commander. Name, Jackson Rel. He saw his own hand hit a red button. Initiate memory lock. Do it now. Then darkness. He fell to the ground, back in the cryopod chamber. His head throbbed. He was sweating, shaking, but one truth had returned. He had chosen. This dot he had chosen to forget. But why? Why would someone lock their own mind? He looked back at the final pod, the one with his family name. And now, underneath it, another line was glowing. She remembered. You must too. She? Who was she? Before he could think, a door opened across the chamber. Unlike the others, this one wasn't metal. It was made of light, soft, warm, inviting. A voice came through it, not a whisper, not the ship, a woman's voice, gentle, familiar. Jackson, it's me. Please come. You're not alone anymore. He turned toward the light hands shaking, because the voice was the one from his dreams. Asterisk. The voice still echoed in his ears. Jackson, it's me. He stood frozen, staring at the glowing door of light. It pulsed softly, like a heartbeat calling him home. Who are you? He whispered, but deep down, he already knew. The voice had haunted his dreams for years, soft, calming, always just out of reach. He'd never seen her face, but the sound of her voice made his chest tighten. like a memory buried under layers of fog. He stepped through the light. On the other side was a different world. Gone were the dark halls and alien metal. He now stood on a small balcony overlooking earth blue, perfect, untouched dot. He turned slowly. A woman stood behind him. She was tall, calm, dressed in a sleek black jumpsuit marked with the old Earth emblem. Her eyes were green, her hair short, silver and glowing faintly at the edges. She looked at him with pain. "Hello, Jackson," she said quietly. "It's been a long time. Who are you?" he asked. She gave a sad smile. "I'm Cirrell," she said. "Your sister." Jackson's knees nearly gave out. I never had a sister," he said. She walked toward him slowly. "No, they made you forget me. They made you forget everything. To protect the truth." The sky around them started to flicker blue to red. The image was breaking. "This isn't real, is it?" Jackson asked. She shook her head. "It's a memory chamber, a safe place your mind created. The ship allowed it for now." He looked at her, pain rising in his chest. Why did I erase my memories? Why build this prison?" She touched his arm gently. "Because you found out what Earth was doing," she whispered. "And you tried to stop it." The sky cracked again. Flashes of war. Ships falling. A secret lab buried under Martian soil. Children inside cryo pods. Experiments. JXON fell to the floor, gripping his head. No, what is this?" Sierra knelt beside him. "You were a commander in the Outer Fleet. You uncovered Project Nemesis, a memory weapon. Earth was testing it on our own people. On us." He looked at her, eyes wide. "I tried to stop it." "You did?" she said. "But they locked your mind. Sent you here, this ship, where the tech was hidden." The ship was the first prototype, a memory trap. They thought it would keep you silent. Tears burned his eyes. "How are you here?" "I'm not." "I died," she whispered. "Inside that cryopod." Jackson's heart broke. "They erased you from me, and themselves from you," she said. "But this ship remembered. And now it's giving you one last chance to finish what you started." Jackson stood slowly, fists clenched. "What do I have to do?" Sarah stepped back. "Find the central core," she said. "You must unlock the full log and send it back to Earth. Let the truth spread. Break the loop." He nodded. Then the sky shattered. Balcony, Earth, the light all gone. Jackson was back inside the ship. Not alone. The cryopod chamber had vanished. But in his hand was a data chip. Glowing. Engraved with one line. Project Nemesis full memory core. Jackson stared at it. This was it, the final warning. The secret they buried. And now it was time to dig it back up. Asterisk. The ship was changing. As Jackson stepped out of the broken memory chamber, the walls no longer looked damaged or abandoned. They pulsed with light blue, red, white like veins glowing with energy. The ship wasn't falling apart. It was waking up, and it knew who he was now. In his hand, the data chip still glowed. Project Nemesis full memory core. Every breath felt heavy, like gravity itself was pushing down on his chest. He moved through the corridor, guided by flickering lights on the floor. One after another, they lit up, showing him a path. To where? He didn't know, but he had no choice. He reached a round chamber. A giant sphere floated in the center, spinning slowly. Its surface was silver, but cracked like glass under pressure. From its base, dozens of black tendrils ran through the floor, connecting to every part of the ship. This was it, the loop engine. He stepped forward, and the voice returned, this time not as a whisper, but as a chorus. Male, female, alien, human. All speaking as one. "You are back in the center again. You Always return. You always try to remember. Jackson gritted his teeth. And this time I will. He held up the chip. I have the truth. I'm not leaving without sending it out. The voices paused. Then. Do you know what that means? Do you know? What happens when memory is restored? The sphere pulsed red. A hologram appeared above it Earth. Then dozens of other planets. Then hundreds. Jackson watched as red lines connected them, all ships, signals, programs. Project Nemesis wasn't just one trap. It was a web. They used this technology to reset rebellions, the voices said. Erase wars before they started. Control minds. Rewrite history. Entire civilizations. Forgotten. Jackson stepped back, eyes wide. All this time, Earth has been wiping memory across the stars? And testing it on people like me? Silence. Then the spheres spoke again. Yes. Jackson shook with rage. How many people did I leave behind? He asked, how many times have I lived this? The answer came as thousands of glowing lines across the sphere. 3,172 loops. 37. Failed. Escapes. Countless erased worlds. His knees gave out. He had tried before. Many times. And he had failed. Again and again. But now, he had the key. The chip burned brighter in his palm. The final log. The truth. He climbed to the core console. As he placed the chip into the socket, the ship groaned, resisting. The walls shook. Lights dimmed. The engine fought back. It didn't want the truth to spread, but Jackson screamed through the pain. This time I end it. He slammed the activation button. The ship roared. A beam of white energy shot up from the core into the ceiling, and then out into space. A transmission. A signal. Encoded, fast, untraceable. The truth was now out. Somewhere, someone would hear it. Earth would know. The galaxy would know. But then, the ship froze. Everything stopped. Lights. Sound vanished. Total silence. Then, a voice. Only one. His own. Welcome back, Commander L. Beginning loop reset. Unless you choose to stay. His eyes opened wide. What? You always run, the voice said. But now, for the first time, you have a choice. A panel slid open beside him. Inside it, 2 buttons. Stay. End the loop. Keep your memories. Stay trapped. Reset, forget again. Wake up as someone. New. His hands trembled. The truth was already sent. But his freedom? Still in his hands. Asterisk. 2 buttons. That was all. Stay, reset. Jackson stared at them. His breath fogged his cracked helmet. He had done it. He'd sent the full memory core into the stars. The truth about Earth's secret Project Nemesis was no longer buried. Someone out there would receive it. Someone would remember. But now, he had to decide what to do with himself. Behind him, the core chamber was quiet. The ship no longer pulsed or groaned. It waited, watching. This is your loop, the voice whispered. You've always chosen reset. Do you still fear the truth? Jackson looked at the reset button. It glowed gently. Familiar. Safe. He could walk out of here, forget everything again, and live a new life. No pain, no guilt, just peace. But at what cost? He closed his eyes and heard her voice. Sarah, you're not alone anymore. Break the loop. Tears filled his eyes. He looked at the stay button. It was dark, cold, unknown. If he pressed it, the loop would end. But he would remain trapped in this ship, with his memories, with the weight of it all. No escape, no reset. Just truth. Forever. He reached out his hand, slowly. His fingers trembled. Then he pressed stay. The room shook. The core's cracked shell glowed golden. A ripple passed through the ship, not pain, but peace. The loop engine. Shut down. The walls stopped shifting. The doors stayed open. The memory traps dissolved. Every hallway, every room, every locked secret unlocked. The ship was now free, and so was he. Jackson collapsed to the floor, breathing hard. The voice returned. But now it was calm. Almost human. You chose truth over comfort. You broke your cycle. So now you will watch others remember too. The walls turned transparent. Jackson looked out into space. Small lights appeared, distant ships, outposts, stations receiving the signal. Waking up, the lie was ending. One by one, across the galaxy, memory locks would fail. People would remember who they were, what was done to them, what Earth tried to hide. The stars were no longer silent. He smiled, though tears ran down his face. He wasn't going home, but maybe. He just gave home back to someone else. Epilogue. Years later, a girl named Mina Rell sat at a dusty outpost on the edge of the galaxy. She was a technician, born after the war, raised on stories of silence. One day, her computer beeped a transmission. Old, fragmented. She opened it. A voice came through. My name is Jackson Rell. If you're hearing this, I broke the loop. You don't know me. But maybe you carry the pieces of what they tried to erase. Memory is our weapon, and now it's yours. Mina stared at the screen. Then she whispered, I remember. The end asterisk.